Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Look, it's Tuesday. Just keep plowing through the week. Don't worry about it. We'll all, each day we're going through, we're getting closer to the season, getting closer to some actual football again. I know we all miss it. I miss it. Maybe not Tottenham football sometimes as much, but I definitely miss having something to do at the weekend and just sitting there watching football. But it's coming, so don't worry. We're speaking a little bit today about some centre-half news. Incomings, departures, and, you know, just sort of giving my general view on things. Let me start with the man that I'm going to have on the thumbnail of myself. That's obviously Mickey van der Ven. We've talked about him a lot. I'm not going to go through who he is or what he's about or any stats like that. But if you're not too aware, he's the centre-half from Wolfsburg, the Dutch under-21 international, okay? So this came out yesterday that, well, I say yesterday, but Mike Verwey, who's a very in-the-know Dutch reporter, obviously reported about, you know, Spurs' interest in Van der Ven. I reported a little bit from the Mirror that potentially we've agreed a deal. And Charlie Eccleshare from The Athletic has sort of said we're close to agreeing a deal. So this was interesting today, and it came from Mike Verwey, that Van der Ven, his agent and father, visited London this summer and had spoken to Postecoglou ahead of the move this summer. That's quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie, that is quite interesting. That's news that we've not had before. So I don't know, obviously, if they've sought out Postecoglou sought them out. I'm not too sure how that's worked around, but it does make me think that he's really, really interested in coming to Spurs. And I think that's something that we've missed out on, you know, a bit of a hunger in the squad again. You know, I want players to come in and really want to be here. And it kind of, from that snippet of information, it does make you think, and it does make me think at least, he does really want to be here. He does care about, you know, progressing his career. Because adding on to that, it came out from Fabrizio Romano that his camp, you know, agent, father, whoever it might be, has told Wolfsburg of his wish to leave and join Spurs this summer. Negotiations are underway. There's something else I'm going to leave off of there for just a second because it ties into a little bit of information I'm going on to in a second. But again, he's really desperate to join Spurs, which is a lovely thing to see. He really has sought out already speaking to the coach, and, you know, the coach has obviously said, look, this is what I'd want from you. This is the future that I have for, you know, my reign at Spurs, what I could have for you at Spurs, you know, and he's really interested in wanting to come, which is lovely to see. So as much as people may have a feeling and interest in other centre-backs, this does seem to be the most concrete one at the moment. And I do think when we get linked to other centre-halves, I do think we are being linked there to kind of put the pressure on Wolfsburg or Van der Ven. And I think Van der Ven saying to Wolfsburg, I do really want to leave now, is basically like a transfer request. And that is because I think Spurs are using information about other centre-halves to put the pressure on Van der Ven, to in turn put the pressure on Wolfsburg to bring the value down a little bit. There's a lot of hoops to jump through there, but you can kind of see how my thought process is on that. Because I left off something very interesting, because this was on from the same tweet from Fabrizio Romano. He said talks still remain open on Tapsoba, and Spurs remain in talks for Tapsoba, but fears are growing over interest in him from Liverpool, United and Newcastle. So I look at that two different ways. I do look at that as, yes, Spurs may have an interest, but I do believe they're using Tapsoba's name to make Wolfsburg a bit more wary, but also Van der Ven's camp to say, look, if Wolfsburg can't play ball, we will just move on to someone else. We've been told that Tapsoba is the number one option. And from what we've been seeing over the last sort of 24 hours, that's not true anymore. It looks like Van der Ven will be the guy as long as Wolfsburg play ball in Spurs' eyes. I'm not saying Wolfsburg are difficult. I'm just saying in the Spurs' eyes that they have to play ball. This also could be Tapsoba's camp using our name to get a better deal for themselves, either a new contract at Leverkusen or another club. Now, United don't have a lot of money to spend this summer due to financial fair play, which I don't get. I don't get whatsoever how they don't. They're one of the richest clubs in the world. They make so much money every year. They've got less debt than Spurs do, yet they've got less money than Spurs do. You see what I mean? I don't really understand that, right? With Liverpool, they've already said they're not going to go in for Thuram now from, I think it's Nice, because obviously they're signing McAllister. They've signed, oh God, I can't I can't lie, they've signed other people. Oh, Szoboszlai, that was it. And they were looking at Romeo Lavia from Liverpool, who's at Southampton, sorry, who's going to cost about 50 million. So Szoboszlai costing, I think it was like 60, 70 million. McAllister costing 35, Lavia costing 50. I mean, it's about 160, 170 million, not far off there, that region spent this summer. They haven't really gotten rid of anyone other than free transfers. So they've got to be aware about financial fair play potentially going forward from this point onwards. So, you know, would a £50 million deal for Tapsoba when you've not sold anyone, would that be doable? Potentially. I don't know. I don't know their situation. Newcastle, they've already said that they have to sell a few players for them to be able to spend sort of 50 million on a player. They said that in The Athletic when we were talking about Maddison, and Tapsoba's going to cost the same, if not a little bit more than Maddison. So that I don't know. I just think Tapsoba's camp are trying to use Spurs' name to get a better deal at Leverkusen, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's a little bit of interesting news on that front. This came from Postecoglou though, and it's triggered me a little bit. And it says, Spurs aren't sure whether to pull the trigger on Longley yet, although it is an option to fill one of the two centre-back slots this window. And this is what I said. They never really wanted two new centre-halves. They wanted Longley, who they want to look at 5 million, a new centre-half like Van der Ven, let's say it's cost 30 million on the high side, and go, there you go, you're sorted for centre-half for the summer. Which means they'll get rid of Sanchez, they'll keep Tanganga, and they'll keep Dyer. That's not an upgraded position, in my opinion. I actually think that's still a very weak area of the team. We need a Tapsoba. And, you know, everyone has this idea that Romero is a right centre-back. If you know anything about Romero, Romero wasn't a right centre-back at Atalanta. He actually was a central centre-back because they played in a 3. So he's not... You don't have to lock him down on the right-hand side. I can see why people think that, but it's not true. But then if the case is... Tapsoba can only play on the right-hand side. He can't play on the left. Then Van der Ven is obviously the option there, right? Which means Longley is going to be starting centre-back next summer. I've got a really bad feeling that's what's going to happen. And we're not going to see any real improvement from the team. Yes, we'll play out from the back a bit better. Yes, maybe we've got a bit more of a physical imposing keeper. But we're not really going to improve this summer. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And it's just typical Spurs. It's typical twisting. It's typical manipulating of fans. Because fans sometimes can be very easily manipulated. Spurs fans, United fans are bad for it as well. We seem to get absolutely ridiculed by our own owners because they can. They can do what they want because people latch onto it and go, James Maddison, oh, it's exactly right. Let Levy cook, let Levy cook. If you've ever said, let Levy cook, those 3 words, you don't really understand how bad things are at this club. I'm just going to say it like that. Just on one player leaving, Davinson Sanchez. So he actually has a bit of a market, which is nice to see. So Villarreal want Davinson Sanchez as a replacement for Pau Torres, who's obviously just moved to Aston Villa. Spurs want 15 million euros, about £12 million. Fenerbahce, Galatasaray and Spartak Moscow all want Davinson Sanchez. And Levy supposedly has an excellent relationship with Villarreal. That came from Mate Moretto. So first and foremost, on the Davinson Sanchez front, I think Villarreal would be a good move for him. I really do. I think we're going to get some all right money out of him. I don't think we're going to get 20 million, not whatsoever, but 10 to 12 million. I think we've done well there in the end. Levy having an interesting relationship with Villarreal was, you know, so excellent that we didn't get Pau Torres when we've wanted him for years. Make that one make sense. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video for today. It was a bit more of a centre-back update. I'll have another video later on a new, well, I say new target, but interesting updates within a target for the centre-back position, plus a potential departure as well, for sure. But guys, like the video if you did enjoy it. Hit me in the comment section about the situation. Are you unhappy about Longley and one other being the centre-back situation? Do you think Van der Ven will be the guy at left centre-back? Do you think it should be Tapsoba? Let me know what you think anyway. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, lads.